Good day everyone, we are here at Tunasan Elementary School for our English project, Teaching as a Vocation.
We are here to meet Mrs. Josephine Alarcon to be interviewed as a representative for public school teachers.
Now, Mrs. Alarcon is a Master Teacher Level 2, majoring in the field of science. Currently, Mrs. Alarcon has been teaching for 19 years in Tunasan Elementary School.
19 years? Whoa!
Yes.
She's famous for her dedication in teaching and being a loving parent for her children at the same time.
Good afternoon. So for our first question is, give us an insight of what is teaching in public school.
Teaching in a public school is a challenging one, yet rewarding. Challenging because of the many tasks that the teacher has to do, the teacher has to comply, the teacher has to submit, and to meet the deadline. Rewarding in sense of whenever the students are learning from the teacher, of course the teacher feels rewarded and appreciated at the same time.
Next question.
Yes.
When and why did you start thinking of becoming a teacher?
I really never planned to become a teacher. Maybe it's more of a divine intervention. It's a destiny of someone who's not planning on something but eventually became one. It's more of a divine intervention because I'm not really planning on becoming a teacher because I know that teaching is really hard. Teaching pupils and teaching other children are a very hard task a person may have.
Next question.
Yes.
What does teaching mean to you?
Teaching means touching lives, touching the souls of my students, touching the innermost hearts of them, touching the intellectual aspect and the behavioral aspect of my students is teaching for me.
Okay. How would you describe teaching as a vocation?
Teaching as a vocation is more of a moral obligation of a teacher. A teacher does teach, a teacher teaches morally. It's not that you are obliged to do it. Teachers can go inside the room and get out of the room without having teaching per se. But it's more of a moral obligation the teacher has. The teacher has this feeling that it is an obligation on our part morally to give something for the students to learn and to prosper, something like that.
Do you find joy within your profession?
I find joy in my teaching profession. I really love teaching. That is one of my passion as an individual. I really love teaching. I really love to teach my students. I really love to teach my kids. I love teaching. I love to give what I have. I love to impart what I know.
Have you ever thought of giving up your job?
No, I don't. I don't have a plan of giving up my job. This is my bread and butter, and I enjoy teaching. I love teaching, and I'm not going to give it up.
What keeps you motivated to teach?
One of the motivations that I have primarily is my kids, my children. I want them to be proud of me, not only as their mother but also as a teacher who teaches with a heart. And I want them to be proud of me whenever they meet someone or some teachers that knows me or that teachers know me, that they would say, "Ma, I have met Sir something like that, Sir Ramos, and he said that you are good," something like that, and it really makes me feel proud. And also, I am motivated whenever my students learn something from me. Parang as if I want to keep going. I want to keep going. I want to keep teaching. That's it.
Do you think it is important to form some sort of bond with your students in order for them to be more enthusiastic about learning?
Definitely yes.
Wow.
A rapport between the teacher and the students is very imperative in teaching because primarily when the students feel comfortable, feel secure, feel joyful whenever the teacher is inside the classroom, they will not have this hard time in expressing their thoughts, expressing their feelings. They will become comfortable enough to share something that they know, to ask questions about the things that they would like to know more. That's it.
Why and when did you start to love teaching?
I started loving teaching when I was on my second year in the field. As I have said a while ago, it's not my plan to teach. It's a destiny. When I was in my second year of teaching, that's when I realized that I love teaching. I love to become part of my students. I love my students to talk about me with their parents, that they learn something from me, that they appreciate me as a teacher.
Why did you decide to teach in a public school?
I decided to teach in a public school primarily because of the security of tenure. Meaning, a security of tenure meaning when you grow older, when you reach 65, you're going to receive a pension. And in public school, teachers are only handling single shift or single level, wherein you are going to teach only one level. For example, I am teaching in grade 5 and I'm not teaching in other levels. In public school, the teachers only render 6 hours a day. 6 hours teaching. In other agencies or other institutions like in private school, teachers are being maximized with their teaching hours up to 6 to 10 hours a day, and they are handling 2 or more levels a day. So that is a very tasky and a very tedious task for the teachers.
Next, describe your insight of a public school before and during teaching.
Before teaching, I find public school as a training ground. A ground wherein teachers will be trained, will be motivated, will be, will be molded with such capabilities, abilities, and in the effective strategies that the teachers have to gain or to learn. After I am finally into the teaching field, I find it quite true that the teaching field, especially in public school, is a training ground really, because handling 50 students per class, wherein a teacher, like for example in my case, I'm handling 40 per class, 40 students per class, and I'm handling 6 classes a day. Oh, that is 6 times 40, that is 240. 240 a day. 240 different souls, 240 different behaviors, 240 different intellectual levels, and that is a very challenging task.
If you were ever given a chance, would you teach in a private school or a public school?
I won't teach in private school because in private school, teachers are receiving low salary grade. I don't know about this time, but when I was in private school, I'm only receiving 6,000 per month. Yes, while in public school, teacher 1 is receiving 18,000. So there's a much difference between the salaries of a public school teacher and a private school teacher. Plus, the security of tenure in private school is not that good. So the services, and as I have said, in private school you are going to handle multiple levels in multiple hours a day. So that will be a big sacrifice for the teacher. In public school, teachers are enjoying themselves after 6 hours of teaching, because we can bring our activities or our tasks at home. For example, if we're going to record something or we're going to compute grades, we can do it at home. So we can do it. We are working, but still we are enjoying ourselves with our family.
Do you ever regret being a teacher?
No. Why? Because teaching is a very satisfying and gratifying job. Whenever you see your students smile at you, when your students care for you, like for this period, this time kasi we are having our Teachers Month celebration, and the teachers would give you cards, greeting cards, roses, chocolates. They would say, "Ma'am, happy Teachers Month. We love you. Thank you for being a teacher. Thank you for being a good teacher to us. Thank you for being a dear teacher to us." So that is very gratifying and rewarding on our part as teachers.
Before teaching, have you ever thought of having a different profession?
I have thought of having different work or job. I planned before to be involved in science field, something like that. But because of the financial crisis that we had before, my parents decided to persuade me also not to take courses in scientifically inclined courses. That's why I was pushed to being a teacher. Though it's not really my passion, that's not really what I wanted before.
Did the desire to become a teacher come from your own passion or were you pressured?
As I've said, it's not my passion. It's more of, it's not like a pressure, but the situation pressured me and my parents to take education. No other issues are there, but only the financial aspect.
What is your field in teaching?
I'm currently handling grade 5 science. Before, I've handled English subject.
So why did you change?
Basically, I changed my field of teaching because I want to explore more. I want to learn and to grow together with my students in terms of scientific skills, in terms of scientific concepts. I want to learn more about science because I'm a frustrated science person, scientist, I may say.
So was there ever a difficulty between transitioning to a different
Yes, there
field?
is a difficulty in transitioning phase from English to science because basically the instructional materials that I have been using for several years in English cannot be used for science. That's why now I'm starting to produce, I'm starting to collect materials that are needed in teaching science, especially now. Like for example, for this instance, I asked one of my teachers to have it like this because this was our lesson last time. Yes, ito. This came from my own pocket. I have not asked any amount to my students because I decided to collect and to produce and to keep and to store materials needed for the teaching science because I want to be my teaching. I want my students to experience the teaching and learning process very interesting in a manner of interesting way.
What are your hardest struggles in becoming a teacher?
One of the struggles that I'm having now is in dealing with my students' behavior. I'm dealing with these students who are not disciplined at home. Actually, most of the teachers here, or maybe most of the teachers in the Philippines, all over the world, are having this difficulty handling such behaviors that are not good in terms of dealing with other students, dealing with their teachers, dealing among themselves are very hard, especially whenever they have these issues like bullying, something like that, asking something, stealing, yes, loitering, littering. So those issues are very hard to handle, especially when the parents of these kids are not cooperating with us, especially with the parents that are not are in denial of the situation that their kids have problems on their behaviors.
How do you normally approach or discipline misbehaving students?
As much as possible, I am handling misbehaviors very constructively because of the because no corporal punishment, the RA 7610, child abuse. We are not allowed to touch them, to say bad words to them, even though they are not behaving well. We are just to call their attention, remind them, sometimes what do you call this? Sometimes let them know that their misbehaviors would affect their grades, something like that. Because we are not allowed to touch them. We're not allowed to say bad words to them. We are limiting ourselves to have this body contact because of the corporal punishment. Because we love our job, we don't want to lose our job, we don't want to be complained, we don't want to be jailed, something like that.
So in your own opinion, what is the biggest challenge teachers of today face?
Teachers of today really face really hard time on the attitude and the behavior of the students. Teaching them with the concepts, learning concepts, is not that hard. We can do our job well. We can do our job meaningfully. We can teach. You can give anything that the things that they need to learn. But we are limited with that aspect. When it comes to in terms of the behavior that they have, in terms of the misbehavior that they are having or they are portraying or expressing, we are hands off. We are hands off. That is a big no for us to touch them. We only reprimand them by warning them, reminding them of the things that they are not to do, they are not about to do, something like that.
Has someone or something ever discouraged you from teaching?
No one and nothing have ever discouraged me in teaching. Actually, whenever I see the faces of my kids, I really would love to really teach because I want them to be proud of me. I want them to be proud of me as not only as their mother, but also as a teacher. I love this feeling that whenever they meet someone, especially the teachers, some teachers in the division, and they would say, "Ma, Miss Cruz knows you. She says that you are good. She says that you are friendly." So that keeps my heart joyful. That keeps my heart very happy.
So next question. As a teacher, how can you inspire your students?
As a teacher, I can inspire my students by teaching them with a heart. By teaching them not only the things, the concepts that they need to learn, but by teaching them how to be a good person, how to be good citizen of the future, how to become a productive citizen of the future. So learning is not just by having good grades or good marks in your forms or in your cards, but also by learning is expressed through behaviors, through acting responsibly, through acting morally upright.
What type of relationship do you have with your students?
As far as I'm concerned, I have already established a rapport to some of my students, of course, because some of my students are misbehaving. So that's why they would see me as a strict one, a strict teacher, masungit, something like that. But most of my students tell me that, "Ma'am, you're nice. Ma'am, thank you for being good. Ma'am, thank you for sharing this with me," something like that. Because as much as possible, I'm trying to connect. I would love to connect, to have this connection between myself and to my students, because I believe that whenever the students are comfortable and feel secure to the teacher, learning will take place, because they will not be shy to express themselves. They will be comfortable in expressing their ideas, their thoughts, something like that.
How would you start developing these relationships?
I have started developing this relationship among my students by simply cracking jokes in between my lessons, making them feel happy, making them feel comfortable, making them feel secure that whenever and whatever they feel, they think, as long as it's not negative, it's not bad, and it will not hurt someone, it's just okay to express and to ask questions.
So, what is the most important thing you learn from your students?
There are two most important things that I am learning. I'm still learning on them. The first one is patience, being patient. I'm learning to be patient. My students are teaching me to be more patient in dealing with them, in teaching them, in focusing on the task and focusing on the things that they need to learn. And the second one is the appreciation. They are teaching me to be appreciative. appreciate the little things that they do, the little things or they say, the little improvements they are having on their achievement academically, the little things that they are showing in terms of improving themselves with regards to their behavior. So those two are very important to me.
Does your confidence change in teaching whenever there is an issue about teaching in the Philippines?
Definitely not. That is not something to do with the teaching that I have, because I love teaching. It's my passion, and nobody and nothing can change that. Only I can change what I feel and what I think. If ever there will come a time that I feel that I'm not going to teach anymore, that is my own prerogative. That wouldn't be affected by something or someone.
In your own experience as a student from the past, would you prefer having the previous or today's quality of education?
No. In today's education, especially in K to 12, wherein mass promotion is evident, even though the students in grade 1, 2, 3 do not know how to read, yet they will be promoted because of the K to 12. In my time, you are not going to be promoted unless you know how to multiply, you know how to read both in English and in Filipino. Yes. You are not going to be promoted if your handwritten is bad. But this education, in today's education, students are promoted even though they are not good in writing, they are not able to multiply, they are not able to read because of the past promotion.
Next question. In your own opinion, what is the purpose of a teacher?
In my opinion, I believe the purpose of becoming a teacher is to touch lives, to be part of these souls who depend on you, to be part of the individual that trusts you, that depends on you, that believes in you, that you are going to give something worthwhile for their development, for their betterment in the future. I believe that teaching is more of loving yourself, loving your children, loving your students in a way, in a manner that they are getting what they are needed to get. They are learning what are they needed to become better citizens of the future.
What is your insight of a teacher before and during teaching?
Before teaching, before having in the field, before becoming a teacher, I see that teaching is really a hard work. I can see that through my former teachers. They are really having this hardship when it comes to teaching the students. At present now, I can still say that it's really hard to teach, especially when your students are not really that interested in your topic. Your students are not participating well in your discussion. It really takes a lot of pain, a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifices just to make the teaching and learning experience an effective one and a success.
So, as a teacher, do you have any weaknesses?
Of course, I have. That's a good
Sige
time.
po.
Bad in math. Although I know basic multiplication, since day one in my teaching experience, I have not handled math subject, even for lower grades. Another one is sometimes I freak out whenever my students are misbehaving. Sometimes I'm not in control of the feelings that I have. So I'm still learning to be in control and to behave gracefully at times of disaster, something like that. Because whenever my students are misbehaving, I really feel sad, and I feel as if they are not respecting me, as if they are not loving me or caring for me, as they have not, I'm not the teacher here, something like that.
Are you proud with what you have now as a teacher?
Yes, I am very proud of what I have now as a teacher, especially now that I'm on my 19th year, 19 years in service. That's a long way to go. I'm very proud, especially whenever I meet former students, professional ones, the professional ones. Though some of my students are not that professional, but at least they are not doing bad things. They are not criminals, and they are productive. Though they are drivers, some of my students are already drivers, tricycle drivers, baggers, clerks, aides, something like that. As long as they are not harming people, as long as they are productive in the field that they are in, I feel proud whenever I meet them. I feel proud whenever I see them growing, and I feel proud whenever I hear nice words coming from them.
What are you most proud of?
The thing that I am most proud of is whenever someone tells me that, Ma'am, I love you, you are good, thank you for teaching us. Because that is primarily the teacher should be. A teacher should teach. Again, it's not only teaching the skills or the concepts or the knowledge that they have to learn, but also, most importantly, the teacher should teach with a heart. The teacher should inculcate values, instill values, so that the pupils, when they grow up, when they grow older, they will use these values, these instilled values, in their respective places, in their respective fields. Something like that.
So for how long would you plan to teach?
I plan to teach as long as I am able to teach and capable to teach. But I am planning actually to retire when I get 56 years old.
What do you think will be the best lesson to impart to your students before you retire?
The best lesson that I would impart to them, I believe, is that becoming a good citizen, becoming a good leader, becoming a good person, becoming a good son, a good daughter, becoming a productive citizen of this world, of this country. I want them to learn how to prosper on their own with their capabilities and abilities, with the help also of their parents, of their teachers, of their other friends. But I want them to be motivated and inspired to do good, to be good, and to seek better opportunities in the future.
So, who do you look up to from your previous teachers?
One of my teachers in science is very keen and very good in the strategies that she has. Biology teacher when I was in high school, second year. This teacher always used to call me. This teacher used to call me every day because, as I have said, I really love science. I really love to learn, and I really love to tackle. I am very interested in the science field. So this teacher really motivated me and inspired me to be good, because she always she used to tell us to be being intelligent is not enough. Being a leader, being top one, being an intelligent person doesn't make you really a man. What makes a man really a man is when you are intelligent and at the same time you are responsible with your attitude, with your ways, with your actions. When you are acting in a very good manner, when you are behaving and you are being appreciated because of being good, when it comes to your behaviors, that really makes a man a real man.
So, how or what type of teacher was she or he?
She was very good in my time. In my time, she was really very passionate in teaching. She knows what she teach. She really knows the subject matter. Whenever we raise questions, she really answered them back with gracefully and confidently. And that teacher really loved. That teacher was really loved by the students. She was really appreciated and what do you call this? Regarded as one of the best teachers in that school.
Okay, so for the final question, what advice can you give to aspiring teachers?
To aspiring teachers, I would say that they shouldn't be just a teacher, just someone that teaches. They should be somebody that teaches with a heart, somebody that teaches and touches the lives of students, somebody that teaches gracefully, confidently, and somebody that teaches effectively. Sometimes it's not. It doesn't matter if you are that. It doesn't matter if you are not that efficient, if you are not that good in the field. But it is more important that you are effective. As a teacher, I may not be the best in town, but I'm doing my best to become the best for my students. I would love to be known as an effective teacher. Even though I'm not that good, I'm not that efficient in the field, but as long as I am effective, teaching and imparting the knowledge that my students needed, that is good enough for me. I want to be known, I want to be remembered as their teacher that teaches with the heart.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. I hope I can help you with this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.